up? What up? This is RJ Fantasy Football talking. We back again. You know what time it is. You know who it is. I'm Rodney. It's JJ. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Another. Well, I would say an exciting week. You might not agree with me, based
No,
off the news for your squad,
no,
this
no.
week. It's San
Eh,
Francisco Blues, baby.
Man, it's been a horrible year. Uh, but hey, I think this is probably the worst year since I think one of the worst was 2017 when we went like 4-12 and we had like a bunch of injuries. I think this is probably worse than that, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's just we got $80 million on IR right
Oh, you
now.
got it. Dollar cost average. All right.
We have $80 million on IR right now.
Right.
That is a shame in
Right.
itself. And it just got worse today. News came out that
Yeah.
we lost three of our starters
For
to COVID.
COVID. Right.
So, and we play tomorrow. So it's
Not a lot of time to get people
no,
healthy.
no, no,
Right.
no.
So.
My opinion, they need to cancel the game, but who knows?
Yeah.
But
How'd you do with your fantasy this week?
I went 2-4, but I did get one important win, and that
Okay.
was against you. So, and that was in the barbershop. So I needed that one. So I needed that one to get where I need to be at, and I got one in another league. So I got
Okay.
one in the church league. So I went 2-4.
Okay.
Hopefully I can bounce back this week and see what I can get. But
Yeah.
I'm still in the playoff hunt in 5 out of 6 leagues.
Okay.
So
That's not bad. Not bad. I actually matched wins. I went 2-5 this week, and of course, like you said, one of those losses was to you, and
oh, yeah.
it was a bad week of bye weeks. I had bye weeks and injuries that just ruined me. So I went in knowing, okay, if I win 2 games, I'm happy. So I guess I'll be happy since I did get the exact number I thought I would get. But welcome to the show, Orlena Lewis, one of my favorite fans. And
Hello,
so
hello, hello.
welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us once again. So
Hey.
yeah,
Well, let's get it cracking though, man. You know how we start, people. You know how we start. You
let's
know how we
go.
start. We start with the top players of the week,
Uh huh.
and we start off with quarterbacks. So I'm gonna give you my list. You know how we do.
Right.
JJ chime in. So on my list, I got this week Patty Mahomes. Excuse me, Patrick
Patrick.
Mahomes. 31 of 42, 416, 5 touchdowns. He showed out. I mean, the game was completely over, but he just showed out. He showed out. It was crazy. Matthew Stafford, 24 of 42, 336, 3 touchdowns. Played well. He actually has COVID right now, so we're gonna see how that works out this week for him. Russell Wilson, 27 to 37, 261, 4 touchdowns. And that bad man Aaron Rodgers, 27 to 41 in a losing cause, 291, 3 touchdowns. That's what I got from my quarterbacks. Those guys showed out. Those
Yeah.
guys that I thought
Hey,
did work this week.
it went
So
so crazy for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes giving people piggyback rides across the field. So
yes,
it was the Jets. So just like we on the Saturday show, we said that game was going to be a
ugly.
complete ugly massacre. It was even
Oh yeah.
worse.
Oh
So
yeah.
those 5 touchdowns came in handy for that was one of the games that I won. Unfortunately, I need him to do that on some other weeks. So this week for the game I won, I didn't really need all that. and my mother says Russell Wilson. That's of her many football teams that she follows. Russell Wilson. He gets a shout out though because his grandfather was the president of Norfolk State University, where I graduated from, as well as most of my family. So Russell Wilson did his thing. I'm gonna just add one more name you didn't say, and that's Justin Herbert, who's he's been that guy, and he put up 278 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have the 2 interceptions, but unless you have a really big penalty for that, that's not really much of a concern. So he's been a really nice pickup for those that were able to get him. And if you're still available, you might want to get him this week, depending on what your quarterback situation looks like. We have some bad quarterbacks too, like
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield
Ooh,
playing
did he come
against.
back down? Did
Hey,
he come back down to earth?
I think somebody said you better temper that. You saw that 5 touchdowns last week. I was like, it's not going to happen this week. We both.
I called it. I called it. Then
Like we both called that one.
We both.
They were playing the Raiders with that awesome defense, so you knew.
But But I'm telling you, like we can go over it every week. He ain't the answer.
Yeah.
He just not the answer. He don't play at the competition, so he just don't do it. And another guy that played horrible, and everybody know I love me some Jimmy G, but I'm jumping off the Jimmy G train.
Say that, Mr. 5,000 yards.
I was wrong on that, but I just think he hasn't been healthy, so therefore he hasn't been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
But he played scared. I mean, he played scared, and I seen it in his eyes. You can see he was scared.
I got you.
I don't think he's there next year. So
maybe not. Before we continue, we have our first question for the night. Welcome Jackson to the show. Jackson's in a dynasty league, and these are their running backs: Nick Chubb, James Conner, John Taylor, and Zach Moss. They're thinking about trading Jonathan Taylor while his trade value is still high, and getting a higher tier running back or wide receiver. What do you think about it?
Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor,
James Conner, and Zach Moss.
And it's a dynasty league?
This is a dynasty league.
So the purpose of a dynasty league is to kind of carry guys over every year like you will run it like normal. Right. Like a regular team in real life. I think I would go with the young legs. I would keep Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
I would try to package one of the other guys, like a James Conner, because he's a little bit older than the Nick Chubbs and the Jonathan Taylor. So I would hold on to Jonathan Taylor personally if I was him. I would think about James Conner if anything.
Now, the thing about that situation is they also have Zach Moss, so they have another young running back they can stay with, and then Nick Chubb's not like he's old. I don't think you're gonna get a lot for James Conner, especially in a dynasty league, because youth seems to prevail in dynasty leagues.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give you a lot for James Conner myself. Jonathan Taylor. And here's the issue. We haven't gotten to running back, but when we get to running backs, one of the running backs I want to mention is Jordan Wilkins. And he has been taking some shine. So I don't think Jonathan Taylor's it's his rookie year. I don't think he's a bust or anything like that. But you can see this year isn't working. So you might want to get what you get. I would say it depends on what you can get in return.
Yeah.
If I can get a young running back or wide receiver to replace Jonathan Taylor, I might consider doing it. But otherwise, I'm with you. I'd stick with it's his rookie year. They have a great offensive line. The question is going to be who they have at quarterback going into the future. But they should have the basis for a really strong running game. So I can see with you, like you're saying, keep Jonathan Taylor. But since you have Zach Moss, Jackson, I would at least put some fillers out there. For me, in Dynasty, anybody's always on the trading block if I can get a good enough player in return for him. So if you can if you can get a young, let's say for instance, because you're able to get, I don't know, a T. Higgins or Jordan Jeffries for
JJ, you read my mind
Jonathan Taylor. If I could get something like that, I'm replacing youth with youth. Yeah, I'm on that quickly if I can. I don't know if you can do it, Jackson, but if you can, try to get another young player. Because running backs are valued, depending on your lead scoring, running backs are generally valued more than wide receivers. So if I can get a quality wide receiver for Jonathan Taylor, I'd say yes.
You read my mind because I was thinking T. Higgins
you were thinking,
the whole time. And I was like, if you can trade now, I love T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is going to be a great receiver in this league.
Yeah.
If you can flip T. Higgins for Zach Moss, I would recant my statement and say Jonathan Taylor. If you could get a T. Higgins for Jonathan Taylor, by all means, yes. Yeah. But Jonathan Taylor, for me, is probably the better back than Zach Moss.
Probably.
and for me.
Well,
So
for the running back situation, because like we've said a few times on this show, being the running back in Buffalo with Josh Allen there, it's kind of tough because he's going to get your rushing. He's going to get the rushing touchdowns apparently, and
yeah.
so I'm with you. Yeah.
So I mean, like Chubb is not young. I mean, he's not old, but he's
He's
not.
not that old. Yeah.
He's like 24, 25.
Yeah.
But you got to think about in running back years.
True.
You can't think about youth as far as
Right.
age. You got to think about he got what 5, 6 good years left in the league as far as if you're doing from your
Right.
average running back at 30, he's over the hill at 30 to some people. So and
Okay.
Connor is 20, probably 26, 27. So he probably got another 2 years left. So who knows?
All right. Jackson came back. All right. This is awesome. His team is young, right? He's pretty young. The starters are Joe Barrow, Smoking Joe, James Conner, Nick Chubb. When he comes back, DK. Oh, I love that. He already has Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss at flex, and the 49ers defense, and Justin Tucker. So you have a nice young nucleus.
Yeah.
Probably not very competitive this year, but down the road, that squad should be a champion. It's the basis of what could be a championship team. So,
I mean, with Smoking Joe and DK and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean,
he already has one of the good, two of the good young, because with DK and Justin Jefferson, that 1-2 combination,
that's crazy.
That's pretty nice. So,
yeah,
looking at that roster, I would definitely see I'd see what I can get for Jonathan Taylor. I
mean, now listening to that roster, then yes, because if you can pull a T Higgins in there with a DK and a Justin Jefferson, oh my gosh,
your wide receivers are set for the next 5 years. You can focus on other positions, right?
Right. So
all right. So back to where we were. Running backs. Who you got that did work this week?
I got 3.
Okay.
Dalvin Cook, 163, 3 touchdowns, 63 yards receiving, touchdown. He was the whole team for Minnesota last week, so you can't be mad at him. Josh Jacobs, 128. He didn't have a touchdown, but big win for y'all.
Uh-huh.
Josh Jacobs definitely did well. And then my thing, J.K. Dobbins, is he starting to take that role over there in Baltimore?
Well, sadly, it was an injury that led to it, but I was like, J.K. Dobbins, you can see he was ready to put in that work. He's very talented. So, yeah, I was very happy to see what he did.
He had 113 yards on 15 carries.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he didn't even get the 18 to 25 carries that a normal running back would get. So, he's doing this off 15 carries. Imagine if you gave him another 5 carries. It's just there. So, I think is it the passing of the torch?
Yeah.
For me.
Which we said would happen at some point this year. So
I think it is. I think they need to. Mark Ingram is not the same as last year. I think they need to go ahead and let this boy run because at the end of the day, he's the best back out of all 3 of them that they got. So, to me, I think they got to pass it to him. That's all I got. Those are 3 I got.
Okay. I have the people on your list. I throw in some people that might not do work much longer. Giovanni Bernard. Filling in for Joe Mixon. Only 62 yards rushing, but he had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. But Joe Mixon is expected back, so your Giovanni Bernard shine is probably all gone. But it was nice while it lasted. I already mentioned Jordan Wilkins. 20 attempts, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, 89 yards and a touchdown, that's great too. But the 20 attempts with Jonathan Taylor there, supposed to be the guy. I don't know. And Jordan Wilkins, we haven't got to waivers, but only rostered in 12% of leagues right now. So you might want to stash your Jordan Wilkins just to see how well this is going. That's another reason that I say I would probably go with trying to trade Jonathan Taylor while his value is still high. Because, if you don't want to, it's a dynasty league instead of redraft. So it's a different mindset, but I'm a little bit cautious. Zach Moss, another young guy, finally put in some work. 2 touchdowns, 81 yards. So, one other person that I meant to mention, DJ Dallas. putting in work for the Seahawks.
Okay.
41 yards, a touchdown receiving, and a touchdown rushing.
I mean, that's short lived because
That's
Carson's coming.
also short lived. That was my main theme for this week. Most of the guys I'm putting are guys that, Giovanni Bernard, DJ Dallas, Jordan Wilkins. None of those are the guy. So but it's something. Give them some applause while they there.
Oh, definitely, you got to. I mean, those guys did. It was, to me, it felt like more of a fill-in week for a lot of positions. So I definitely think those guys did work. But if you can get them, I mean, and stash them in case they can be a good handicap in case they get hurt again. So
I just noticed I'm messing up here on my scrolling with the comments. Jackson commented back. They did have Dak Prescott, but like I said, what happened with that one. But that's I say one thing: Dak is, by sitting out, making the strongest case for running the show next year. So
going to get paid next year.
So but again, thanks for the comments and the questions, Jackson. You have a nice team. Keep following the show because I want to see how this team goes in the future. Because I think you might be making some noise in the next year or so.
Definitely definitely like the page. So we can go to receivers.
Okay, who you got?
I mean, DK Metcalf. You can't say no more than what he did. I mean, 12 receptions, 161, 2 touchdowns. That 50-yarder that he took it to the house was amazing. Julio been showing up the last couple weeks, man. I got to say, man, he's the number one receiver again in Atlanta. 7 receptions, 137. He just don't get the touchdowns, and I don't know what the problem is there. So, Corey Davis, 8 receptions, 128, and a touchdown. And Cooper Kupp had 11 receptions, 110, and a touchdown. But Cooper Kupp also had, I think they threw the ball to him 20 times.
Yeah,
I think
Cooper Kupp is a PPR machine.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
20.
And as well as he did, Robert Woods wasn't a joke either this week with 85 yards, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown to throw in with that. So, both Rams wide receivers, they put in some work.
Yes.
Which is surprising how poor Jared Goff is like, okay, on a weekly basis, his wide receivers do work, but his quarterback numbers still, I guess they're the only two he's throwing to. So, and
then because we do the tight end, so I have obviously just one.
Travis
Kelce, 8 receptions, 109 yards and a touchdown. But I have a special guy.
Okay.
That I want to actually send some love to, which we always do. Alvin Kamara. 9 receptions, 98 yards, a touchdown. But I want to send something special out because he's going to obliterate that receiving record for a running back. Just by the way, he's on pace for 126 receptions for a running back. And McCaffrey did 116 last year.
Uh-huh.
He's doing 126 this year. And this is obviously with Michael Thomas out, Emmanuel Sanders. We got to see how that works out when they come back, hopefully this week. Yeah. But I just want to show Alvin Kamara some love because he gonna destroy that record. He's on pace to destroy that record. Okay. And I feel like they got to keep him involved. I mean, really?
I mean, as long as Michael Thomas is out and with Emmanuel Sanders the last couple of weeks, they don't have any other options but to keep him involved. So we got another question before we go on. Live HD, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back.
He said Devontae Parker or Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones.
Marvin
Marvin Jones.
No more.
I mean,
I was gonna say the same thing, but
Kenny Galladay hurt. I mean, he's out, and Marvin Jones had a monster game last week.
Yeah,
so and he's available. I mean, obviously he had him on his team, but he's available in a lot of leagues now.
Right.
But Marvin Jones is going to be the number one when Galladay hurt.
And quite frankly, last week was the Tua debut, and that
didn't go over too well.
That didn't go that well. that didn't go well at all. So yeah, I'm with you. I was gonna say the same. Can't play
He
with
still
the
get it.
COVID. I still go Marvin Jones because
Definitely.
so far the Tua, what did he? It was like just over 100 yards, I think
No, no,
or
no,
did
no,
he even
no.
get 100?
He had 93 passing yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't want any piece of that. Did you see Fitzpatrick with his short shorts?
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Yo, did you see that? I was like, if I was at practice with him, I'd be like, yo, just go to the locker room.
No, like I can't practice with you
I
looking
can't
like
practice,
this.
dog. Just
So
go to the locker
go
room.
ahead.
Just go. Like you doing what? It did. He cut his beard. I was
Yeah,
like, cutting the beard was fine, but I was like, the shorts, dog. You got to go back to the locker
you
room.
gotta let
Just,
it go.
just go ahead. We don't need that around here, okay?
Uh,
But
but thanks for the
Devon,
question. Yeah, Marvin Jones is your guy this week. Devontae
Devontae,
Parker is on the shelf until further notice. Oh,
yeah,
Jackson also wrote back. They're 3-5 this year, and they have high hopes for the future. I'm with you. The future should be nice.
with that team, you got real high hopes.
Yeah.
I'm not too. I'm not. I don't. We don't play in dynasty leagues, so we are thinking about starting a dynasty league at some point. I don't know when we're going to do it, but we are starting. We are going to think about one. But it's interesting. I would love to get into that because I don't really know much about it, and the strategy changes with that in a dynasty league over a redraft. So I just don't. I don't know. It's something. He has a good team though, definitely.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at him. So, but we got some waiver wire pickups that I think you could actually use this week.
Okay, who you got?
I got obviously Corey Davis. Corey Davis is available this week. He's available in probably I think it's under 30%. I think he's still out there under 30% in Yahoo.
Okay.
Matt Breeder is another one. With Gaskins going down for 3 weeks, he's another one you can pick up. Jordan Wilkins is another one. Like you say, he had a really good game last week. Jalen Regan had a good game. He came back and he was productive. He had a touchdown. So Jordan Reed is another one. Once he comes off IR, you definitely can use him. But Kittle's out for 8 weeks. So
only owned in like 12% of the league. So Jordan Reed's a good pickup.
So those are the 5 that I have as far as some waiver pickups. Also, Dallas started a new quarterback this week. You can talk more about that. So
Garrett Gilbert, I'm not messing with him. Who are they playing this week? The Steelers? No.
Yeah.
I don't care who they put out there. I want no parts of. Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Definitely no on whoever is the quarterback, whether it's Rush or whether it's Gilbert. Just stay away.
Okay.
What are you thinking about Zeke right now?
I feel like Zeke is the O line is banged up. For the people that don't know, the Cowboys are the second. I think it's the second team with the most players on IR right now. So they lost their offensive lineman to retirement. They lost offensive lineman to the IR, and they lost their starting quarterback. So you just got to take all that into account when you lose your offensive line that you depend on, and they had one of the best offensive line in the league. So he's really not going to be much help for anybody this year, for me, because he can't run. And then you put a quarterback back there that's not a threat to throw
quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like they're going to stack the box at 8, and then they're going to force that quarterback to throw the ball, which if he's not successful, Zeke is not successful. That means everybody else around him is not successful. So like CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Gallup and all those, they're not without Dak. Like we said earlier, Dak is going to get paid just because the fact that they see what they're doing without Dak. Dak is the man there. He's going to get paid even though, is he worth $40 million? No.
Probably not.
But he's going to get close to it because if he gets franchised, he's getting 38. So I think Zeke, because I know you just traded for him, obviously.
Right.
I still play him. I would
definitely play him.
But I would treat him as a RB1. I mean, because you never know when he's gonna break out of this.
This week I say an RB2. just because of who the. But then again, hey, we did see JK go off on them, but JK has better stuff around him than I think Zeke's gonna have
I mean,
this week.
they have, but I feel like they're gonna have to run the ball. They got to run the
Right.
ball to protect the quarterback, right?
Right.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I still would run him.
Yeah.
I still would run him as if you got him, I would still play him because obviously you went high to get him. Either you went high to get him or you traded a good piece to get him in a trade. So you got to play him at some point. So me personally, I say keep him.
Okay.
So
I got two things. Live HD's back said,
okay.
and the question was about that earlier question was about whether you play Marvin Jones or Devontae Parker. The comment back was that Stafford's out due to COVID. We mentioned that earlier in the show, and for this case, I don't think it matters because you're gonna worst case scenario you have Chase Daniel out there, I think. But right now, it's still a good chance that Matthew Stafford plays. He only has to. I'm not even sure he is the person with COVID. It sounds like he was near somebody in a high, close proximity. So he only has to test negative twice, and I think Stafford plays. You might be you're gonna temper your expectations from Marvin Jones if Stafford's not there, but I don't think they're low enough to start Devontae Parker.
I just don't think you have to really see what you're getting from him first. At the end of the day, I want to say he had 9 completions and 93 yards. So that wasn't him that won the game. It was the defense that won the game. So I would kind of just hold off a little bit on Devontae Parker and just kind of just see where it goes from this week.
I have Devontae Parker on one of my rosters, and he's sitting on my bench because, quite frankly, that unless you just don't have good options, but if I had to choose between between Marvin Jones and Devontae Parker, I'm going Marvin Jones quickly. Jackson also comes back with your opinion. Jackson, you may not know it, but a guy over here is a 49ers fan. He wants to know your opinion on Deebo Samuels. He says Deebo seems to produce when he's healthy, but it's not that reliable because of how injury prone he is.
He'll be back in a week. Not this week, but next week. I say hold on to him.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna throw my bias hat out because this season is pretty much toast for me. So I say keep him. I think because at the end of the day, Mullins, for what he is, he does get the ball out a little bit quicker than Jimmy G. So I will say that. So I would say keep him because you seen what he did with Brandon Ayuk last week. He does get the ball out to those receivers. So I would say keep Deebo. I wouldn't, especially in a dynasty league.
Exactly.
I wouldn't dare get rid of Deebo because you don't know who's the next quarterback coming in there. Hopefully Matt Ryan, by the way. But so you just don't know who's going to be there. So I wouldn't get rid of him.
Yeah.
I would hold on to him.
I'm holding Deebo because we saw his rookie year what he is capable of. This year I think is lost, but this season started off bad with the broken foot, and so it's. But I don't think he's too young to say that I think that he's injury prone. He just had a very bad injury season this year. But I'm gonna blame that on 2020 because everything is crazy in 2020.
Yeah, it's fluke. I mean, the foot injury was fluke. This last injury was fluke. I mean, I want to say it's more precaution if anything. That's why they're not playing him. But whatever. I mean, I could be wrong.
But so, Debo's a baller, so
definitely.
I like him. Not this year. I think this year. In fact, if I'm San Francisco, the writing on the wall. Y'all can't keep a team healthy. I might even consider shelving Deebo because I'm like, it ain't working this year. Rest that foot. Get ready for 2021.
I don't
think that's gonna happen, but that's what.
In his mind, he want to come back. But if I was them, I'd be like, look, maybe you just kind of sit it down a little bit.
Quarterback's done. George Kittle's done.
Done. Just
Monster he's coming back soon, but he's been on IR. I mean, this year for San Francisco is bad. So I wouldn't make any judgment things on dropping someone like a Deebo this year.
especially in the
But
dynasty
this,
league.
but
Definitely not.
to people that don't have Debo, this might be a good time to try to, especially in the dynasty league. Hey, make a move, see what you can do, because it'll be he's gonna be a baller whenever he's
Oh
back
yeah,
healthy. So
him and Brand. Look, if
him
you can
and
get
Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk, yeah, if you can get Brandon Ayuk in a dynasty league, because people are not heavy on him.
Yeah,
I mean, I would try my hands.
Jackson
So
says
I don't know.
that it pisses him off how the Niners don't utilize him enough. Whenever they watch with the ball, he has always good yards. Basically, a perfect wide receiver. He's a wide receiver that plays like a fullback. Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up. We mentioned this last year. Debo in the running game. It's sort of like someone we mentioned a little earlier. Robert Woods gets in that running game.
Yeah,
A wide receiver that gets used in the running game a lot, like I wanted Laviska Shenault to be, but it didn't. It hasn't worked out so much for me this year. I think that's viable because even when they're not getting, because depending on who your quarterback is, lots of they don't get the ball in the hands of their receivers. Guys that can be like a Debo, you can design plays and get them involved in all aspects of the game. If the receiving's not working, the rushing will work, and then you just go off there. So that's one thing I love about Debo. He's versatile.
I mean, but the thing with that
Yeah.
is, if you watched him before he got hurt this last time, they were getting him involved in the shuffle
Yeah.
pass. The shuffle pass was big off the edge,
Right.
so they was doing that. And again, is about who's at quarterback. He has the speed to go over the top.
Yeah.
It's just you have to get it to him. And with Jimmy being hurt with the bad high ankle sprain, he ain't getting it to him, obviously.
Right.
So he's not getting it down the field. And that's Ayuk and Kittles.
Yeah.
So he kind of diminished all of their values because of an ankle injury. So
Right.
and that's not his fault. He just got hurt. But at the end of the day, he was never healthy. But Debo does the shuffle passes and they get him involved in the running game. And like I say, don't get rid of him. Anything, I will hold on to him because, like I say, you just don't know who's going to be quarterback next year.
Hey, I went big on Debo. I had because he was injured. I ended up picking up Debo in like 3 leagues,
Yeah.
I think, this year, and it hasn't worked out. So I understand the frustration.
I still got him on my bench, and
Right.
he'll be back in a
Yeah.
couple weeks.
I dropped him
I'm
in
gonna put him
one. I dropped him in one league because it's one of the leagues I mentioned to you before that we only have
Yeah.
3 bench spots, and so you have to.
So you
So
had
in that
to.
one, I was like, I let it. But in the other ones, I still have them. Especially if you have
Yeah.
an IR spot. Yeah,
He'll be back
He'll
in
be
a couple
back.
weeks, though. Yeah, definitely.
all right. Do you have any other waiver guys?
No, that's all my waiver guys. That's all I got for you.
Okay. Well, if
So-
you're having a quarterback issue, let's say you don't think that Matthew Stafford's coming back. I think Matthew Stafford's playing.
Yeah, I think
Or if you don't want to play whoever the Cowboys tried out against the Steelers. And by the way, it's not Saturday yet, but we have the Saturday show. And on that game, I don't care who the quarterback is for Dallas. Do not put them in your lineup. Look for Drew Lock, who actually showed some good potential. Yes, that's
Drew
right.
Lock.
Drew Lock. He's only owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, 8% of ESPN leagues. He's the guy I think you can fill in if you're desperate for a quarter. He looked pretty decent. Not great last week, but I think he's warming up because he spent a lot of his time this year injured. So
hurt.
I think he threw for like 2 touchdowns, if I remember. But
Yeah.
they got to win against Justin Herbert. So I think you definitely try to target him if you need a quarterback. Another name I wrote down, you mentioned Jordan Reed for the tight end. I would also say
Yes.
Logan Thomas should have a really good game
Logan,
this
I
week
forgot
coming
about
in.
Logan Thomas.
So
Logan Thomas has been good the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
owning 27% of Yahoo leagues,
How
12%
do you
of
feel about-
ESPN. So yeah, what you got?
How do you feel about the rookie they're playing in Jacksonville? I can't think of his name. It's Lots or Lodi or something. I can't remember. God miss
Yeah, I know
you
you-
got benched. How do you feel about that? Is that some? I feel like God Minshew hasn't. He was good.
Yeah,
in the good. He was good early in the year.
right.
It's just
That's what I was gonna go with. It looked like Jacksonville had a decent offense running at the beginning of the year. That's when I started buying in on Laviska Shenault. I know that's not who
Yeah.
you're talking about, but I guess what I would say is I'm not that high on Jacksonville right now because they're not as good offensively as. So no.
Do you think he gets the job back? I mean, obviously
Minshew?
Minshew has to. Yeah, he
there
got
was
to get the
talk
job
of
back.
him
So
not getting the job this year. If you remember near the beginning, and people were like, "Hey, they're just making him to get like Trevor Lawrence next year." Um,
yeah,
so
I'm not
I think he is not making a good case for keeping that job. Um,
yeah.
but we'll see what happens in the draft.
I'm
He
not the
he 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 needs to be looking over his shoulder, not for anybody that's on the team now, but for
no,
next
but Trevor
year.
Lawrence.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. I don't know Trevor Lawrence, but the Jets gonna get Trevor Lawrence though, because they're gonna end up with the number 1 pick. So, I mean, in case he
it's
could pull
looking
a.
that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could pull a man in and say I don't want to go there, but I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't know. Jacksonville is just an organization I wouldn't want to go to because they don't want to win. So they tried out these quarterbacks and these receivers, but they got good receivers though.
Yeah,
Shark is a good receiver. I mean, even the guy that you love the most, I
Lavisca,
can't get Lavisca.
Lavisca Chenault.
I mean, he's good. I mean, maybe they just need to get the right piece around him
Right.
in order for it to work. So I don't know. I mean, it just depends on what you think. I think Gardner Minshew is not done in the league.
No, no.
He'll quality backup definitely, but I don't
I
see
mean,
him.
that's what he was until Nick Foles was Nick Foles. You know,
But Nick Foles ain't good
and
either.
so
Like,
that's how he got that job. So yeah,
speaking of Nick Foles, do you think he lose that job again?
no, because my man Mitch Trubisky got hurt. They run one play for him. Now he's out with a shoulder injury. I was like, oh come on, because I've been holding on to Mitch Trubisky because I like Nick Foles is gonna lose that job down the line, but I think it's over. And in fact, I think it's over for Mitch Trubisky in Chicago. Quite frankly.
Well, yeah, they actually they don't want
Yeah.
because he played bad that one game and they benched him right after that.
Yeah.
They didn't even give him a chance to actually kind of get back and redeem himself. So they didn't want to do it anyway. And plus they were paying Nick Foles all that money
Yeah.
that he got from it. No, it don't make sense to me.
Nick
So
Foles is a bandit because he keeps getting teams to give him money
oh
to
my
be awful.
gosh, man,
So
he Kirk Cousins is a prime example of that too.
also
I keep
a
hearing
bandit.
I keep hearing Kirk Cousins' name floating around, man, for San Francisco, and that it's hurting my heart because I don't want Kirk Cousins.
Nobody should want Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is getting paid $80 million guaranteed, man. No, $140 million guaranteed. Nobody wants that deal,
To
man.
throw interceptions.
That's it.
Right.
He don't even throw 20 passes a game, man.
Well, if you had Dalvin Cook, which you have, Kirk Cousins throwing a lot of passes a game.
No, but that's not the point.
I
He's
know.
a quarterback. I mean, you're paying him all this money to throw the ball, right?
Hey, there's a wealth of quarterbacks who get paid to be terrible in the NFL. So
No,
you
I
can
mean,
start a list. But yeah,
you're right, but I mean, at the same time. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of quarterback positions gonna open up next year.
yeah.
And one guy I'm looking to see get a job is Jameis Winston.
I think Drew Brees has maybe another year. Like, I would not be surprised if Drew Brees retires this year. If Drew Brees retires this year, that's Jameis Winston's job automatically.
Yeah,
I think Drew Brees should retire, but I don't know if he will.
Do you think they're not gonna give it to Taysom Hill? Or Tyson Hill?
Taysom Hill, no. He's a gadget player. I mean, and it's cool, but I don't think Taysom Hill is a. There's so many bad quarterbacks. I won't say I don't think he's a starting quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not, but they gave him so much money, which
Yeah,
they gave him
a
20.
lot
They
of
gave
money.
him a ton of money.
That's why I was surprised when they picked up Jameis Winston in the offseason because I was like, okay, you got these
They
two
gave him
guys.
$20 million,
Yeah.
$20 million over 3 years to be a gadget guy.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that don't like.
It doesn't
They
make
use
good
him at the
sense.
wrong. It don't make sense. They use him at the wrong time. It don't.
He
add
got a
up.
touchdown as a receiver this past week.
I mean,
But not worth the money they pay him. Right?
It's not worth the $20 million they paying him. I mean, Jameis Winston is probably a better quarterback than him. I mean, you've seen it last year.
I wouldn't even
with
say probably.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Jameis Winston is a better quarterback
Well,
than him.
he is, but Jameis Winston need to not throw it.
He got LASIK surgery in the offseason. He's good now. He can see.
Oh my
that was the
gosh,
problem.
really?
He was squinting too much. He couldn't connect with
Well,
his wide receivers. He
he
didn't know
seen
who he
double
was throwing
vision.
to. So
Okay, he seen double vision. Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
got you.
So,
Look. He won people a lot of money last year. I
didn't
ain't mad at you.
didn't
The 5,033 touchdowns, you can't even be mad at.
All
It.
right.
So, hey, I expect him to get a job next year though. If he don't get a job, it's a crying shame. Like, cause he has to. At the end of the day, um, it's just I feel like a lot of spots can be open next year. So, we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. So, but I got some news that just popped up. I read something the other day that's saying that and I want to know how you feel about this, that the NFL could go to 16 teams in the playoffs
Yeah.
if they have to this year. How do you feel about that? And does that
Why?
water
Are there
down the
16 good
playoffs?
teams in the NFL? Seriously? I mean, 16 teams good enough to win the Super Bowl? No. I don't even
But do you,
like the fact that they added the one additional team this year. So no, I would not want to see them add an extra team.
so you think that waters down the
I think it's
playoffs?
already watered down. Think about this. Between the Cowboys, the Eagles, Washington
Oh God,
football team, and the
stop,
Giants, one of those teams
stop.
is going to be in the playoffs as it is right now, even with the old system. So,
No.
do I think it waters it down to add additional bad teams? Yes, I do.
I mean that's
Yeah,
true. I can see that. I seen that and I was like, eh. But they said something about they voting on it
yeah,
this year.
it's stupid.
They voting on it if, in case other games get canceled. So because they don't have any room on the schedule to move games anymore, so they got to come up with another plan. And to me,
Right,
that concerns me if it's another breakout like it was
like
in
San
Tennessee.
Francisco is
Yeah,
right now.
that it is. So do they move games? Because you can't move games, so you got to
Right.
cancel them. Now, do they cancel the season, or you
I don't
think
think
it's
so.
too much
We
money
made it
involved?
halfway through. I think it would take a major break to cancel the season at this point. I think they're determined because tomorrow is a game that should be canceled or postponed because
Yes,
the 49ers just shut down
facility
their
today.
facility today, and then they're supposed to
Yeah,
play tomorrow. It's like that makes absolutely zero sense.
so they have no practice reps. But the
Right?
thing about it is, it's about money
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So if they're not making any money, which Thursday night games, I don't think it makes that much money, honestly. Where you can't move it to
Right.
a Sunday evening game or a 1 o'clock game or something like that. It's ways of working it out.
Yeah.
I just feel like this whole COVID thing is gonna run rapid. It's probably gonna hit because obviously it's getting cold now,
Right.
and the weather is flu season and all this stuff. So it could hit and it could shorten the season. Does it do it? I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't like the 16 teams because who gets to buy? Think about it. You got somebody got to get a buy, right? So who gets to buy?
That's for them to figure out. I just don't like the idea. Period.
So you don't like the seven spots?
I think the playoffs were fine the way they were. I think there's already enough bad teams to make the playoffs. You don't need to add extra bad teams.
I can give you that. Yeah. I ain't mad at that. So, I mean, that's really all the news I have. I mean,
I got one news story. I mean, it was much of a dud, but we did have the trade deadline go by this past week. I think the biggest news was the players that were traded. William Fuller. A lot of people expected to go to the Packers.
That would have been huge.
That would have been huge for them right now.
Yes, my God.
But he's still sitting there in Texas. And then this one's not a big fantasy impact, but did you hear in Atlanta, Tack McKinney talking about?
Seen that.
Yeah,
he was like, "They're not traded." No.
It's like I can't remember. It's like I've only had like 15 career sacks or whatever. It's like, and then put the clown emojis there. And he's right though. Atlanta, they are clowns, but
yes.
It's funny that he kind of did the self-own. It's like, why aren't y'all taking these trades from me? I'm not that good. Basically, is what.
Yeah,
But
like that whole situation in Atlanta, they obviously want to clean house.
yeah,
That from what we see. Why not do it now and get it out of the way that way? Because I mean, obviously you can make the trades in the off season, but why not do it now?
I don't know.
I don't. Maybe it's because if you do trade for people, you got to wait 2 weeks because of COVID test and all
Maybe.
that stuff.
I just think Atlanta is on the way to being as dysfunctional as the Cowboys are. So it's just ownership, and I think it's really bad ownership in Atlanta.
You think it's bad ownership?
I think Arthur Blank is horrible.
You do?
I really do.
That's. I think he's
bad.
He's not the worst owner.
No, he's not the worst because Jerry Jones is there and Dan Snyder is there. I can't remember his name, but the guy who owns the Jets, he's there. The Bengals, the Browns, but he's in bad company with all those guys. But
I don't think if I had to rate the worst owners, Woody Johnson probably is number one.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder.
Thank you, Woody Johnson. That's the name I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Dan Snyder is definitely number two. So the thing is, Dan Snyder, he went from paying old players to not paying nobody.
Right.
So he front-loaded players, players like Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith. Right. He front-loaded those guys with a bunch of money. But now you don't sign anybody?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
But they're the Washington football team, and I was honestly surprised that Dan Snyder was able to hold on because in the offseason there were people trying to get rid of him. So
I think he said.
I'm not going to say we have another question though. Lyrical Loop, thanks for joining the show. Is this a good trade? They get James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, and Darren Waller, but they have to give up David Johnson, Chris Carson, and Travis Kelce. I'm not doing it.
Well, we know why you're doing it. That is James Robinson.
Well, hold on. Let me go back because it's James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, and Darren Waller, but they give up David Johnson. I don't mind giving up David Johnson.
Yeah.
Chris Carson. The injuries are starting to concern me a little bit. I guess the only thing I regret on that is giving up Travis Kelce because I love me some Travis. If you don't know Lyrical Loop, I love me some Travis Kelce. I'm gonna change my opinion though because I'm a Raiders fan and I love me some Darren Waller.
No.
And I love Tyreek Hill.
Hold up.
Nope.
Hold up, people. He's an undercover Chiefs fan. Okay.
My wife is from Kansas City, so I am married into being a Chiefs fan.
Don't let him fool y'all. He's a undercover Chiefs fan. Okay.
I'm not even undercover. I'm full out. Hey, I'm in red and white. I don't know what are our colors.
Look, red and yellow. He.
Yeah, red and white. I just got the confirmation.
So don't let him fool you.
But
he is definitely not a Raiders fan.
My Travis Kelce love blinded me, but now I'm taking it back. If you get James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, and Darren Waller, and you gave up David Johnson, Chris Carson, and Kelce, you win that trade.
You win that trade.
So it just hurts. I love Travis Kelce, but I love Darren Waller, and Darren Waller I think is not as good, but he's getting himself in that category with George Kittle and Travis Kelce, and hey, it's Tyreek Hill, so you still get some Kansas City love even if you give away Kelce, you get Tyreek Hill. And I actually really like James. Surprisingly, James Robinson is one of the big surprises of this season.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something when we do our biggest surprises of the year. Yeah. At the end of the year, he's gonna be on my list because he came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like he came out of
he went from who's James Robinson to can I get James Robinson to people trading for James Robinson, giving up Chris Carson, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Yeah,
it's the Fournette.
He's getting all that Leonard Fournette volume.
All what Fournette was supposed to get. It hurts my heart because Fournette was supposed to be that
we
guy.
Both went. I think I went bigger on Leonard Fournette.
Oh, you went way bigger than me. I didn't go that big, but I went.
No,
I went
I
big
went
enough.
crazy on Leonard Fournette. I grabbed him everywhere I could, and hey, it's starting to work out though. Because, well, first of all, let me say thanks for the question, Lyrical Loop. That actually is a good one. You challenged my Raiders versus Chiefs love, but yeah, I think you did a great job on that
Yeah,
trade.
that bias showed a little
A
bit.
little bit. But go, but going back to Leonard Fournette, we looked at Rojo for 3 weeks, put up 100. It was like we don't know if Fournette's gonna get that spot, but hey, as soon as Leonard Fournette came back, he's been getting the bulk of the carries. So I think
Well,
Leonard Fournette's that dude.
Rojo fumbled too.
Yeah,
So when he
and
fumbled,
there you go.
Tom Brady don't trust you no more. So you got to worry about
This
that.
is true. This is true.
He got yanked pretty quick. So, but I just think that backfield's a mess because you don't. One can be hot 1 week.
Yeah.
It's like the guy that got a receiver, the slot receiver. He's good 1 week, he's bad the next week.
Yeah.
It's just I'm interested to see what AB do this week. We don't know what you get from AB.
Yeah.
I mean, do you?
I have too much hate in my heart for Antonio Brown the way he did the Raiders. So
you really have to let.
I can't let that go.
You do. You have to let it go. I mean,
I'm not willing. I'm gonna stay bitter. I hope he breaks his ankle, and I don't wish injuries on players too much, but I hope he breaks his ankle on his first play.
I really think you're bitter. I think
I'm highly bitter. I'm highly bitter.
I can tell. I think you need to kind of let it go a little bit. Just acknowledge that he played y'all for what it was, and I'm pretty sure he got some money out of the deal.
Yeah. And, whatever.
I mean,
but
let it go.
Hey, I need Shaq to have my back over here. Coming in, Antonio Brown is not gonna do well because Mike Evans is a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and whatever else Shaq says.
I don't know why you're saying that because you know he's not. Shaq, if you're listening, I know you're watching at some point. I know you're watching.
Shaq's gonna come for you later.
Shaq always come for me. It's fine with that. I'm used to that.
But on a serious note, I think Antonio Brown is no better than the third target there because when he's healthy, it'll be Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and Gronk has been putting in work the last few. Hey, Gronk, I think we're both a little bit surprised because I was like, he's been out of the league and he was always injured the last time he was playing with the Patriots. Gronk is looking really nice. So Antonio Brown, even back, they say they're wild or shocked at what the physical shape that Antonio Brown's in, but I think it's going to be a dud for fantasy owners.
My question to you is,
it's hate. Gronk is definitely back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he going into next year as a top 3 tight end?
No, I don't think he's that back.
I mean, he's performing like a top 3 tight end this year.
I'm about to say not this year, but the last few weeks, yes.
I mean, but like going into next year, he has to.
No. The age is still an issue with me going into top 7. Yeah. I say he's
7?
Yeah.
You can name 6 tight ends better than him right now?
Going into next year, I'm going to say Travis Kelce, as always. George Kittle is coming in next.
Waller.
I'm very interested to see. Well, you skipped over Mark Andrews. I would put Mark Andrews ahead of Waller only because he gets all the touchdowns and looks from Lamar Jackson. And then I say Waller as 4. I think Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert get split up next year, and that gets me 5 and 6.
First of all, I'm going Waller over Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews ain't putting up the same numbers he did last year, and that could be that's not all his fault.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not all his fault.
Quarterback. So, but what I'm saying is,
I give you a slight. I agree with you because of the volume that Waller gets. Derek Carr does look to him a lot.
So much Waller. Yeah. I mean, he gets so much value. It's crazy. So I'm going definitely those. I'm going. You might because Goddard might be better.
I don't think Zach Ertz and Goddard are on the same team next year. I'd be surprised if they are.
When they get split, I think Goddard's going to be the better tight end. Maybe you might slide Mark Andrews down because Mark Andrews don't get the volume that he used to get.
But he gets touchdowns.
Still, the volume is not there this year.
Okay. Well, okay. We slide Mark Andrews down a few. I still have him above. The point of the question was Gronkowski. I still put Andrews above Gronkowski, even if he slats down. So,
Over Ertz.
do I put Mark Andrews over Zach Ertz? That depends on where he is. Because I think Goddard would be in Philadelphia still. I think Zach Ertz gets moved.
Okay.
So it depends on where Ertz lands.
Yeah. I mean, Detroit got a good tight end.
T.J. Hawkinson, another.
Yeah, Hawkinson.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
and I would
another
pick him over. I love youth, and so yeah, I might be convinced to pick. I'm kind of. I'd have to debate it if I had to choose between Gronkowski and T.J. Hawkinson. That one, we'll see. But I'd say they're probably on a very similar level.
Okay, I give you that. Yeah. I mean, a year older, I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like top 7. I'm thinking more top 10.
Okay.
Because once you wrote off those names, it made a lot of sense if you're going youth. Youth is the biggest thing here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I give you that. So, I don't know.
Plus, who knows? Tom Brady retires next year, and then Gronkowski's not playing either, because apparently all Tom Brady's doing is reassembling all his former wide receivers. I'm surprised Wes Welker's not there. So, whatever.
I'm surprised he didn't get traded there either. Yeah. So, I mean, geez.
Yeah,
I don't think it
was... Before we get to the going back to the trade, I did want to ask you 2 questions about the trading deadline. There were 2 offensive players that could have some fantasy impact. I want to get your opinion on them.
Okay.
Isaiah Ford goes to the Patriots, and DeAndre Washington goes to the Dolphins. Do you care about either one of those guys?
No. I mean, obviously, Ford ain't made a big enough name. He did nothing. But I think the Patriots are searching for anything at this point because they have nothing at receiver. I mean, Edelman is out for the next 3-4 weeks.
Exactly.
And
N'Keal Harry has been a disappointment.
Very much. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So that's part of his problem. And they have nothing else after that. They have no tight end. They have no second receiver. They have no number 1 receiver, obviously. And Cam is dying out there. I don't think Cam is that bad, honestly.
He's been playing that bad, but I don't know if it was all him. I think they really just don't have talent out there in New England.
I don't think
right
it's
now.
him. I think it's more the fact that it's no talent.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, Belichick going to have to say, look, we're going to have to retool. He even put the whole team up for a fire sale.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, come on now. That ain't helping the cause. And Cam, I don't think Cam is there next year.
I don't think so. I think he was a 1-year fill-in. I'm with you.
I think Cam is in D.C. somewhere. I think he's going to D.C. Yeah. He may be in D.C. I think he goes to Jacksonville. But I think he ends up somewhere. He's not going to be there. Because
I can see that.
They thought about re-signing him. But I feel like if you put some talent around Cam is still good. We just don't see it because they ain't got nothing. When you lose 11 players of COVID on defense,
right?
I mean, what are you supposed to do? You can't replace those 11 players. Can't do it. So
okay, DeAndre Washington. Any interest with Gaskins being out?
I don't like that backfield because obviously I like Breeder a little bit more over Washington because he's there.
He's been in the offense already, so yeah, I think he definitely has the advantage.
Yeah. And Jordan, I don't see him doing anything. He's a fill-in, if anything. So Breeder is probably the one to own in that backfield right now at the moment. That could change over the week or two. I mean, because think about it, Tua throwing for 93 yards, they're gonna have to run the ball.
Yeah.
Their defense is not gonna do what they did last week.
Not on a regular basis, right?
They're not gonna do it. So you have to, at the end of the day, get some type of production from your running back, your receivers, or something. Unless Tua gonna run around like Kyler Murray,
right?
I mean, so we don't know, and that's what they're hoping anyway. They're hoping he pans out like Kyler Murray. Yeah. So who knows?
We'll see.
I don't know, but I don't think Washington does anything.
Yeah, but I don't think I would pick up either one of those guys. If I'm gonna pick up either one, it would be Isaiah Ford, like I said, just because there's nobody there. But I'm not interested. Yeah, so trade deadline was a dud for the NFL, and I'm not getting any fantasy movement from that either. So I'm with you.
So I got one question. I got a question. How do you feel about Donald and where does he land next year? Well, what is because the
Sam
Jets
Darnold,
don't Sam Donald, yeah, the Jets don't want him.
don't know, don't
They
care.
they've been saying they want to trade him. Does he land anywhere particular that you
Like I
think?
said, there's a bunch of bad quarterbacks. So he's going to go be bad. So I've not. They don't have a lot of talent in New Jersey. I guess it is with the Jets. Um, but even from what I've seen from Sam Darnold, I'm not as a fantasy prospect.
Yeah.
I don't even care where he lands, unless he lands with your guys over in San Francisco. And if he's teamed up with someone like a Kyle Shanahan, then I might look his way with some interest. But
So
otherwise,
do you think it's the people around him?
Adam Gase
Obviously,
is horrible. Yeah, that's the problem.
Adam Gase is probably the worst coach
Yeah.
in the league ever. Uh, he shouldn't even have a job,
Yeah.
personally, in my opinion. But it's the organization, and I don't think he has pieces around him. So do you think do you put him in the same? Because it's like Josh Allen. He reminds me a little bit of Josh Allen. How Josh Allen didn't have anything around him initially, and then once they did get some pieces around him, he started
You
to
can see
show
some
out.
sort of time. Of course,
Yeah.
Josh Allen hasn't looked good the last few weeks.
He sure has.
What did he have? He had 154 yards this past week, a rushing touchdown. So,
But he don't show up for he don't. The problem, he's good this year, but what he has to do now is he has to show up for competition.
He's been decent this year.
Yeah, he's been decent. He's been better than last year, definitely. Last year
Yeah.
he was horrible last year, in my opinion. But this year he's playing a little bit better than he would be because he just don't show up for the big games. And I mean, if you put Sam Donald in a better situation, I think he succeeds a little bit more.
I say it like this with Sam Darnold. It's hard to judge a guy when he's been playing with the Jets. Oh, perfect example. Ryan Tannehill with the Dolphins looked horrible. Now with Tennessee,
looks great.
Hey, he looks like, hey, where's this guy been? So maybe that's what Sam Darnold. He needs to change the scenery to have some value. So depending on where he goes, he might be fantasy relevant. But right now, I'm not interested.
No, not now at all. Yeah. But they wanted to trade him at the deadline. So, and I can see him going to San Francisco. But I'm gonna tell you this: Jimmy's gonna end back up in New England. That is
Jimmy Garoppolo. You think he's going back to? Okay, I can see that.
Going back to New England. I mean, Belichick loves him.
I'm about to say Belichick's a system guy, and so he
loves him. So but I don't think he holds any fantasy relevance going back there, though. Honestly,
we'll have to see what else they do with that team because right now, with you, the Patriots are a really bad team right now.
So now it says it wasn't Belichick, it was Tom Brady, right?
I'm not willing to say that
yet. Why not? You don't think so?
I want to see them with more time. I say this: Tom Brady definitely has made the case that it wasn't that system that made him who he is. So we have to see what Belichick can do with a decent quarterback. I'm not going to judge him based off Stidham and Cam Newton this year, but I say this: it ain't looking good for Belichick or his system right now.
But you do know
but they had all the injuries. They had all the guys that decided not to play. That opted out for COVID. So I think it's
they had 11 people opt out for COVID.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was crazy. It was a lot of them. So. But you do know that Tampa is running a similar offense that the Patriots ran, right?
Yeah.
So it's you can make the argument as a system, but you can't. It just depends on the way you look at it.
I think Tom Brady is good.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying
he's
that
good.
at all.
I mean, he's good outside of the system. I don't think you can label Tom Brady as a system guy.
No.
Even though he's played in, like you said, a very similar system. But
It's the same system, but I
but
mean,
he's
by
good.
all means. He
Hey,
just got more
I'm gonna go
talent
back to
around.
Michigan and say, hey, he wasn't in that system then.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
take anything with Tom. Tom is
yeah,
a great quarterback,
yeah.
definitely. So
The
I'm not gonna
greatest
say he's the.
quarterback.
Oh no, you just slow down there, buddy. Montana's the greatest quarterback.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to slow down. That's like we're not gonna go to the other argument, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not happening. 4-0 in the Super Bowl. Need you to remember that. So yeah,
True enough. True
yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Never make that comment again. That was just
enough.
ridiculous.
I gotta ask. I gotta ask.
And is he the best quarterback of all time?
Who? Tom Brady?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
not,
Smart man.
not even close.
At least we agree. At least we
Yeah,
agree on something.
we agree on a lot, especially that. We also agree that you all should tune in Saturday for the 40-second play clock, where you can see me dominating in our weekly picks. We go through all the games, and we tell you what team is going to win, and we tell you which fantasy players you need in your lineup. Much like James Martin is asking now, Kareem Hunt and Eckler for Ezekiel Elliott. If this is, hold up, Kareem Hunt and Austin Eckler is this redraft or is this dynasty?
Yeah.
And either way, I'm like, what? Because I'm not making, what?
Kareem Hunt and Eckler.
Hold on, Kareem Hunt and Eckler for Ezekiel Elliott, like right now?
No.
That's interesting. I need more information about this. Like, or is this a redraft or is this a dynasty? And who is making this trade?
No.
Because no.
Eckler will be back next week.
Exactly. I'm holding on for Austin. No.
That's a big no. No. You see, he going for the name. He going for the Zeke name. Don't go for the Zeke name. Go for the
James Martin just was mine. And it's a redraft league? No.
No.
Yeah. James Martin would be getting Elliott in this deal, and I'm saying no because for two reasons. One, also like you said, Austin Eckler's coming back, and two, we still don't know exactly when Nick Chubb is being back and how good he'll be when he should be coming back sometime soon, available to come back. But yeah, Eckler should be back soon.
No.
Right now, the way I would say this, in all honesty, I made a trade recently for Ezekiel Elliott, and I believe that it was it is also in a redraft league, but I wouldn't give up those two running backs for Ezekiel Elliott. No, I gave up when I did mine in a redraft. I gave away Jonathan Taylor and some wide receiver I can't even think of right now. But
no.
Yeah, so
no. That's such
to answer that question, no. Stay with Austin Eckler because quite frankly, I like Zeke eventually. I think around especially if you're in a playoff position, which I intend to be in that league that I made that trade for. I think Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys eventually get it worked out where he's getting that volume. But if I had my choice, I would stay with Kareem Hunt and Eckler for now, just because when Austin Eckler gets back, he's going to immediately jump back to being that guy. Because quite frankly, neither Justin Jackson or Joshua Kelly has been overly impressive.
No,
and Justin Herbert is getting warmed up and ready. So,
he's gonna get
work especially if you're in PPR. He's gonna be a problem for somebody.
Man, look, I got Eckler and I've been holding on. I am not getting rid of Eckler. No, that's such a bad trade. I would not do it.
All right.
Now, it was another piece added to it, and yes, but it got to be something else.
Yeah, I need more. Because Ezekiel Elliott's a big question mark. I think he gets it better, but I would rather stay with known quantities. Do you know when Nick Chubb's supposed to be back? Or
I know it was 6 weeks he was out. It's around about the 6 week frame, but most times when it's 6 weeks, they always sit him out.
Exactly.
Week. They kind of get him back. So probably another 2 or 3 weeks.
And even when he gets back, I think Kareem Hunt. In fact, I think Kareem Hunt's probably going to be better once Nick Chubb gets back.
But Kareem Hunt was doing work when he was there, so I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do it anyway. No.
All right. James says that they're 5-3 right now. Good job. You're doing well.
Yeah,
And the running backs, James Robinson, who we mentioned earlier in the show, we love,
yeah,
and Kareem Hunt. So
yeah. I would definitely want
yeah.
to do that now.
Stay with what you got.
Yeah,
Wow. So you have James Robinson, Kareem Hunt, and then
Eckler on
Austin
the bench.
Eckler's coming up later. Yeah. I stay with that. That's a winning running back star right there. So
And this is about to be playoff time soon.
yeah.
So
5-3, you're
you want,
definitely gonna make the playoffs. I think.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
want to hold on
you
to
got that
those.
stable. You
Yeah,
ready?
definitely. You don't need Zeke.
Yeah.
I promise you that. So
At least not the way Zeke's been
no, no,
since Dak's been
don't
out.
do that. Don't do that
Yeah.
to yourself.
Are they gonna get a decent quarterback in Dallas this year? Is it gonna be just scrambling with Andy Daltons and the Danucci's and the I keep wanting
They
to say Gilbert Goffrey, Garrett Gilbert. It's like
they're
as long as they
saying
guys like that, yeah,
they say the Garrett kid actually may be something. They like him.
yeah.
They think
He's
they think he was really good in some semi-pro league or whatever he
okay. There
came
you
from.
go.
Yeah, so they saying they like him. They
We'll
pulled
see.
him because they saying they didn't like DeLucci. They ain't like him, so they was like, either we're gonna bring back Cooper Rush or we're gonna get this Garrett kid in here. And they've been kind of going through it. So I think Garrett may be who they gonna roll with.
It's gonna be,
I mean,
at the very least, interesting to see how that goes.
that division is so terrible.
Right.
Like they could go on a winning streak and actually get in the playoffs because every other team is bad in that league.
Yeah.
I mean, in the division. So at the end of the day, they just need somebody back there that's gonna make the offense a little bit better than what it is now.
Okay.
And Cooper Rush ain't the answer, or DeLucci.
Yeah.
We don't know if Garrett the answer. We don't know.
Hey,
so we'll see.
Sadly, I'm hoping to get Andy Dalton back, which is terrible because it's like Andy Dalton is awful, but I like him better than. It's just a horrible situation.
But my thing is this: what if Garrett come out and perform well?
Hey, who
knows?
Go
back to
not this week though. Not against those Steelers.
I mean, but I'm just saying, what if he comes out in a losing cause and performs well?
Right now, I think you do whatever works because do
you go back to Dalton? To me,
if Garrett's winning, no.
Even losing. I mean, if he lose, because he gonna lose this week, obviously. But so yeah, but in a losing cause,
I thought you meant
in a losing cause, he does well. Do you still bring him on? You play him over Dalton? Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. More questions from James Martin. Christian Kirk or Amari Cooper to start this week?
Christian Kirk.
I'm going to go Christian Kirk. I don't like the volume Christian Kirk gets, but when he gets receptions, they're usually huge receptions, often for touchdowns. Amari Cooper's better, but Amari Cooper has a quarterback problem that I'm not really willing to gamble on right now. So I'm going Christian Kirk, and I'm hating myself for it because I wouldn't have high hopes for either one of them this week.
Yeah, I don't definitely. I would not go. It's tough because Amari is the better receiver. Obviously, it's just that quarterback situation is so bad right now.
It's the worst. Yeah,
you don't really know what you're getting from Amari Cooper. So
you don't
it's
know
like
what you're getting from anyone in that offense right now. That's so dysfunctional.
None. So
the offensive line is messed up. I don't know.
Defense is horrible. It's just everything is bad.
Right.
So it's just that I feel like Christian Kirk gonna get the little bit of opportunities he gets.
Unless that defense is as good because they played the Dolphins. Unless that defense is as good as they were last, but I don't think that. I think that was a somewhat fluke. But yeah, I think Christian Kirk is your safest bet. James also asked, should they trade away Fulgham in Philadelphia?
For who?
I guess it's an open question. If you try to trade him, while you can.
No. I mean,
Fulgham's doing it right now. I think I'd try to ride that.
Him.
Yeah, I try to ride it.
I mean, he's your number one going into next year. I mean,
I think with Jalen Reagor back, maybe.
Him and Jalen Reagor.
But him and Jalen Reagor, yes.
Yeah, him and Jay were together because obviously Alshon is done. Get him out.
Greg Ward is just a guy.
He's a fourth, fifth screen receiver.
Yeah. I'm riding the Fulgham train this year. As long as so unless like I said earlier, anybody's on the trading block for the right deal, but right now I'm not trading
No,
Fulgham unless
I wouldn't do it.
unless you wow
I,
me.
now, if they trade him, I mean, whoever gets him, they getting a good receiver
Yeah,
because he's really really big. He's a
yeah.
big kid. I mean, he's not small at
Hey,
all.
and more than anything else, he's healthy, which is something you
Yeah,
can't say for a lot of receivers or tight ends in Philadelphia right now. So,
and he producing. It
oh
ain't like it's a fluke.
yeah. Well,
So yeah,
James says that they're concerned because all the guys are coming back uh, with Philadelphia, and they already have Keenan Allen. By the way, Keenan Allen, monster. I don't know
yeah.
if he made. Did we mention him at the beginning of the show when we're doing wide receivers? I don't know,
No,
but
but I like to switch it up every
yeah,
now and then.
but
So
yeah,
it ain't yeah,
monster.
yeah,
But
definitely.
and like I said, unless I get a decent offer, I think Fulgham, even when everybody else gets back, the only person I put ahead of Fulgham
It's
potentially
Regan.
is Jalen Rieger. And
He can beat out Alshon.
yeah,
Alshon is
I
nowhere near
think
him.
Fulgham has already shown he's that guy. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So yeah, I don't
because
trade him
honest,
this year.
they was trying to trade Alshon
Yeah,
like earlier.
yeah. I mean, because
So
Alshon Jeffrey is not good. I mean,
he's
I
not
think
good and he's
he's
injury
had
prone.
many years to show if he's good, and he's injury prone. He's
He's
injury prone
very
and
injury
not
prone.
good.
So yeah,
So
he didn't make good his Chicago days.
yeah.
So that tells you something. So
So
at the end of the
so
day,
stay
no,
stay with Fulgham
yeah, definitely.
because even when Ertz and Goddard get back, and I'm not really worried about any other receiver. Like I said,
But
only person, Deshaun Jackson is gonna come back and get hurt again because
Deshaun Jackson is
he's
out for the
our
rest of the year,
age.
though.
Well, he's
Yeah,
old. Deshaun Jackson's old, so I'm not even worried about. So
but
yeah,
he
there's
out
nobody
like
there's nobody of there. There's not a wide receiver in Philadelphia that scares me other than Jalen Rieger. So Fulgham's
and
the guy.
but Ertz wasn't even getting the volume like
Right.
that anyway. So it wasn't. It don't
Yeah.
even matter. Ertz is slapping owners, so he
Yeah.
doesn't. He's on his way out. So I don't think they trying to devalue him
Yeah.
by not getting him the ball. So they're gonna try to bring his value down so they can trade him. So I just don't think either they trade him or they let him walk.
Yeah.
So I don't see. And Goddard didn't do anything last week
But it
when
was
he
his
had
first week
opportunity.
back. I like Goddard,
I
but
mean, I
I
don't know.
like Fulgham more though.
I love Vogel.
Yeah.
Vogel is probably him and Regum are going to be good.
I think Fulgham is another one of those surprise guys, like we mentioned with James Robinson. That
Yeah,
hey, this
definitely.
if you got him, or even a Chase Claypool, all all these guys that you got low that can put up some decent
I
numbers
mean,
for you.
Claypool
Claypool's
in the
not
last,
in the Fulgham category. But I'm just saying he had
yeah,
a few weeks of production while Deontay
before
Johnson was hurt.
Deontay Johnson been playing well.
Hey, whenever Deontay Johnson's healthy, he's a monster.
Is he the number one
Yeah, I think so.
over Juju?
Yep, I think so.
You know Juju's a free agent next year, right?
Yeah.
You take him in Oakland? I mean, in Las Vegas?
I don't think we need wide receivers in Vegas. Hey, I am a big. You have
Oh
Waller
God!
there. You've
Don't
got
you say that name?
Brian Edwards, the name I was gonna
No,
say. You
no,
know,
don't you say
oh.
don't you say that name? Don't you say
I
Hunter
would say
Renfrow.
Hunter Renfro to the day I die. He's not gonna
Why?
get the 1,000. Hey, you were wrong on Garoppolo getting 5,000. I was wrong on Hunter Renfro getting 1,000. But I think Hunter Renfro still. But hey, with Hunter Renfro, Henry Ruggs, and Brian Edwards, I think the Raiders are pretty set at wide receiver.
But you won't big on him. You won't.
I'm not big on Henry Ruggs. I'm still not big on Henry Ruggs. Uh,
Yeah,
but I think Brian Edwards is a better receiving
I
prospect.
think so too.
But I think
Yeah, I
Henry
think.
Ruggs has a place on this team to take the top off the defense and leave the other guys open to make the plays.
So do you think Claypool and Deontay Johnson makes Juju expendable?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean,
Really?
I say like this. I like Juju. I really do. But I think he's expendable. Yeah.
With those two guys?
Yeah.
Claypool is huge though.
I mean, if
Claypool,
you can keep all three, that's great. But
nah.
but I don't think
I
you
mean,
need all three. Right.
I think they didn't re-sign Juju this year because he's on his
Yeah.
pretty much he can walk next year. So I think with the emergence of Claypool and Deontay Johnson, Claypool is 6'3",
Yeah.
6'4". He's about as big as like a Calvin Johnson,
Yeah.
Julio type of receiver. So you can't go wrong. And when he gets the volume of catches, he definitely your number one receiver. I think he's expendable.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I think Juju's expendable, and I think they're gonna show him too.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna make. You got to think they're gonna have to pay him when they got these other two guys on rookie deals. Does it make sense to it? So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
But that's all we got,
That's
people. We appreciate y'all, man. We
Thanks
really
for
do.
all the questions. We really appreciate them. Watch us Saturday, like we said. The 40-second play clock. It'll be up there fairly early in the afternoon, if not sooner. Saturday morning. We're actually going to record it tomorrow. Hit that like button. Follow us, rnjfantasyfootballtalk.com. RNJ Fantasy Football Talk on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yes. You know the old saying, we ain't going nowhere. So
there you go.
Definitely.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.